Friends, one important aspect of this Mirage 2023 is perhaps for the first time, the calligraphy has taken a paradigm shift. Generally people's mindset is calligraphy is all about Arabic or Persian or Chinese or Japanese. When we started working on that, when we went to little depth onto the calligraphy, we realized that in India, most of the state languages have their own calligraphy. Be it Malayalam, be it Kannada, Tamil, Telugu, Devanagari, Hindi, and many more. And that is where we really love the concept of first multilingual calligraphy conference here. And because in today's world, world of hatred and what is all happening, and this is the time of building the people are building the walls. We need to bridge the gap between we need to build the bridges through this kind of artwork and culture. So that is the power of art and culture. So that is what we would like to do it in this next 3 days time. And my understanding of calligraphy is it is not merely an art. As I mentioned earlier, it is an emotional. It is a spiritual aspect of a human mind, and heart, and the body in the sense of writing and visualizing and conceptualizing and etc. And we think that calligraphy is just an art form, but when we hear from the calligraphy, the masters, the kind of story behind how they select the ayah, how they select the color, how they proposition it, in a manner that everything there is a reason, there is a meaning, there is a purpose. That is calligraphy. And you see, today's world, I feel the humanity is somehow taken a back seat. The respect for humanity is somehow taken a back seat. So this is where now we need to get that a peace of mind, that contentment through this kind of art. That is where calligraphy is going to play a very, very important role. And I hope our this effort will fulfill in creating the awareness with the general public, to take calligraphy to the next level.
मैं सबसे पहले अल्लाह ताला का शुक्रगुजार हूँ कि अल्लाह ताला इस बेहतरीन मजलिस में आने की दावत सैयद बेरी साहब दिए, इसलिए मैं अल्लाह का शुक्रगुजार हूँ। बहुत अच्छा काम है, बहुत जिम्मेदारी से वो लिए हैं। अल्लाह ताला इनको इसके अंदर जो है बहुत बरकत अता फरमाए, हमारी सब दुआ है। Greatest art and the most difficult to learn is the art of living. यूं उजालों से वास्ता रखना, यूं उजालों से वास्ता रखना, शम्अ के पास ही हवा रखना। ये जो बैलेंस ऑफ लाइफ है, ये अल्लाह ताला को बहुत पसंद। ये अदा मियाना रवि की अदा जो है अल्लाह को बहुत पसंद। शम्अ भी जले, हवा भी चले और वो बुझने ना पाए। ये जो बैलेंस ऑफ लाइफ है जिंदगी में बहुत ज़रूरी चीज़ है। मैं एक मैसेज ऑफ लाइफ से अपनी बात शुरू करता हूँ। एक शेर है, तू बहरो बर पर खादिर है, आसान मेरी मुश्किल कर दे। तू बहरो बर पर खादिर है, आसान मेरी मुश्किल कर दे। साहिल की तरफ कश्ती न सही, कश्ती की तरफ साहिल कर दे। मोहब्बत की नज़र अहले वफा की शान पैदा कर। मोहब्बत की नज़र अहले वफा की शान पैदा कर। बुलंदी और पस्ती की ज़रा पहचान पैदा कर। दमागो दिल की अक्सर क़ुव्वतें पिन्हा रही अब तक। दमागो दिल की अक्सर क़ुव्वतें पिन्हा रही अब तक। कोई उनके उभरने का भी अब सामान पैदा कर। न हो माहौल से मायूस, न हो माहौल से मायूस, दुनिया खुद बना अपनी। दिलों में हौसले और हौसलों में जान पैदा कर। मजा है मरने जीने का इन्हीं खतरों के दामन में, मजा है मरने जीने का इन्हीं खतरों के दामन में। नई बिजली, नई आंधी, नए तूफान पैदा कर। न दिल टूटे, न दिल टूटे, न दामन जब्त गम का हाथ से छूटे। न दिल टूटे, न दामन जब्त गम का हाथ से छूटे। वो पत्थर का जिगर, वो जिंदगी में जान पैदा कर। ये सब तुझसे अगर मुमकिन न हो ऐ महवी नादान, तो अपनी मौत का फिर शौक से सामान पैदा कर।
When I joined the school in Punjab, immediately after the partition, we started writing on wooden plaques. I don't know if that system was here in the south or not, but on the wooden plaque you did a coating of fuller's earth, metani mitti jisko bolte hain. Then we had to make ink from the black ink crystals, and it used to be a daily routine for us. So from the beginning, my generation learned alphabet along with calligraphy, and therefore my trust in calligraphy has always been there. And whenever I have any function or any exhibition of calligraphy, I am delighted. When I was in Mysore, we organized one calligraphy workshop there. And it was quite successful because those days Urdu papers were not printed through computers but with lithography. On the stone, if you remember, you had to actually do calligraphy and then the printing would be done. So the art of calligraphy was part of the daily lives of people. Whatever the language, you learnt your alphabet along with calligraphy. But things have changed. The wooden plaques gave way to paper. Paper has now given way to mobile phones and IT and all that. But the art of calligraphy, which as you just saw in the documentary, is the oldest art, remains.
Well, all of you have seen beauty contests. You just give a prize to somebody who looks beautiful? No, there are a lot of parameters. There are a lot of, quantities. Only when you have those quantities, you qualify. So like that, when we came to lettering, we found that there were a lot of things to be known. I mean, my other friends, learned friends from other countries are here who understand that it is typography which gave us the signs of letters. The thickness of the line, the width of the line, the proportion of letters, the height, width, the space that it encloses, half encloses, space around it to create that visual delight. And then people who really went into calligraphy would have had an experience. Those who have had the experience will certainly relate to me when Mr. Berry also said about the divinity in that. There is a spiritual dimension to it. Without that, it cannot be calligraphy according to my experience. What's the spirituality? And my Muslim friends will agree with that. In your community, you don't have idol worship. You worship and then you worship the energies. And you know about the positive and negative energies better than others who would be worshipping idols. Later, if you go into any spirituality, you will understand that. But you are more closer, and that is where I found when I did my research work. The early writings began in the caves of Sumeria, which is modern Iraq. And from there, various languages that we see around the world, some languages had first writing, then the speech. Some languages had speech first and then the writing. So it's a very interesting field which took me to anthropology to study how people actually live in different parts of the world. So first is everybody needs food, clothing, shelter. Next what? Socializing, communication. So to socialize you had to communicate. So to communicate you had to either speak or write. And that reminds me, even today, the stroke of the pen and the power of your tongue will always rule supreme. And you have seen that. We've had Mr. Sheriff, the power of the tongue was seen over there, the way he went on reciting, and everybody was enjoying it. Wonderful presentation, Mr. Sheriff. Though I didn't understand much of Urdu, I saw the people enjoying it. It's a pleasure, a delight to your ears. Now, calligraphy is delight to your eyes. Most calligraphers will tell me that when they get into writing, they are lost in their world and their vision is completely different.
So this is the need of the hour, especially when there is a lot of hatred, a lot of animosity, a lot of differences which we feel. And I think art and culture is one platform where there is no differences we feel, when there is no difference between the haves and the have-nots, no difference in terms of being a male or a female. Calligraphy I'd like to use in a very broad form. I would not say it is divine or it is like, whatever, philosophical or any of those things. I would say it's the style of writing. And I think that's been really ignored because in India we have more than 26 official languages. So there's a lot of language nationalism, So every state has its own language. The states have been divided on language, and the language is only associated with literature and education. They never think of the script associated with the language. We never think as a kind of a visual thing. The visuality of the script is also important, and as an artist, I feel it's very awful to see an ugly script because I don't want to see my language Kannada written in an ugly way. It's a beautiful language, So it's all these rounds of Kannada and Telugu. Maybe I think they started off as one, but they have very beautiful cursive. It's a very beautiful cursive script, and each one is so beautiful. When I started engraving them on these copper plates, I absolutely fell in love with them.
ದೇವರ ದಯದಿಂದ ಇವತ್ತು ನಮ್ಮ ಮಿರಾಜ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಗ್ರಫಿ ಫಂಕ್ಷನ್ ಭಾಳ ಅದ್ಭುತವಾಗಿ ಆಯಿತು. ಪರದೇಶದಿಂದ ಸಾಧಾರಣ 15 ಜನ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಸೌದಿ ಅರೇಬಿಯಾ, ಕುವೈಟ್, UAE, ಇರಾನ್, ಸುಡಾನ್, ಬಹ್ರೈನ್, ಬೇರೆ ಎಲ್ಲ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ. ಅಲ್ಲದೆ ನಮ್ಮ ಇಂಡಿಯಾದಿಂದ ಸಮೇತ ಸುಮಾರು 40 ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಗ್ರಾಫರ್ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಿಂದ ಹಿಡಿದು ರಾಜಸ್ಥಾನ್, ಮಹಾರಾಷ್ಟ್ರ, ಗುಜರಾತ್, ತಮಿಳುನಾಡು, ಕೇರಳ, ಕರ್ನಾಟಕದಿಂದ ಜನ ಬಂದಿದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಅತ್ಯಂತ ಒಂದು ಸಂತೋಷದ ಸಂಗತಿ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿದರೆ ಪ್ರಪಂಚದಲ್ಲಿಯೇ ಪ್ರಪ್ರಥಮವಾಗಿ ಎಲ್ಲ ಲ್ಯಾಂಗ್ವೇಜ್ನ ಕ್ಯಾಲಿಗ್ರಾಫರನ್ನು ನಾವು ಗುರುತು ಮಾಡಿ ಅವರನ್ನು ಕರೆತಂದು ಒಂದು ಕಡೆ ನಾವು ಜೋಡಿಸಿದ್ದೇವೆ. ಅದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಅದರಿಂದ ಆದ ಒಂದು ಬಾಂಧವ್ಯ, ಆ ಪ್ರೀತಿಯ ವಿಶ್ವಾಸ, ಆ ಒಂದು ಸಂಬಂಧ ಭಾಳ ಉತ್ತಮ ರೀತಿಯಲ್ಲಿ ಅದು ಪರಿವರ್ತನೆ ಆಗಿದೆ. ಇದರಿಂದಾಗಿ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸಮೇತ ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಸಮೇತ ಇದೇ ರೀತಿಯ ಎಕ್ಸಿಬಿಷನನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಹುಮ್ಮಸ್ಸು ಸಿಕ್ಕಿದೆ. ಪರಮಾತ್ಮನು ಈ ನಮ್ಮ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮನ್ನಿಸಲಿ ಮತ್ತು ನಮಗೆ ಇನ್ನೂ ಇಂಥ ಕೆಲಸವನ್ನು ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಶಕ್ತಿಯನ್ನು ದಯಪಾಲಿಸಲಿ ಅಂತ ದೇವರೊಂದಿಗೆ ನಾವು ಪ್ರಾರ್ಥಿಸ್ತೇವೆ. ಇವಾಗಲೇ ಈ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನು ನೋಡಿ ಕಲಿತು ತುಂಬ ಜನರು ಇಂಥದ್ದೇ ಪ್ರೋಗ್ರಾಮನ್ನು ಬೇರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಮಾಡಬೇಕಂತ ಹೇಳಿ ಅವರು ಕೇಳ್ಕೊಳ್ತಾ ಇದ್ದಾರೆ. ಅದರಲ್ಲಿ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೈದರಾಬಾದ್, ಬ್ಯಾಂಗ್ಳೂರ್, ಕೇರಳ, ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆಯಿಂದ ನಮಗೆ ಆಹ್ವಾನ ಆಲ್ರೆಡಿ ಬಂದಿದೆ. ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ನಾವು ಯೋಚನೆ ಮಾಡಲಿಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ದೇವರು ನಡೆಸಿದರೆ ಬೇರೆ ಕಡೆ ಈ ವರ್ಷ ಬೆಂಗಳೂರಲ್ಲಿ ಆದರೆ ಬರುವ ವರ್ಷ ಡೆಲ್ಲಿಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಮುಂಬೈಯಲ್ಲಿ, ಇನ್ನೊಂದು ವರ್ಷ ಹೈದರಾಬಾದಲ್ಲಿ, ಹೀಗೆ ಮಾಡುವಂಥ ಒಂದು ಅಭಿಪ್ರಾಯವೂ ಇದೆ. ಸೊ ಅದರ ಬಗ್ಗೆ ಈಗ ನಾವು ಏನು ಹೇಳುವಾಗೆ ಇಲ್ಲ. ಆದರೆ ಮುಂದಿನ ವಿಷಯವನ್ನು ಇನ್ಶಾಲ್ಲ ನೋಡಬೇಕು ಯಾವ ಥರ ಆಗ್ತದೆ ಅಂತ ಹೇಳಿ.